It is 12:05 and we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank y'all for joining us today. My name is Pamela Burns and I'm the Director of Public Involvement and Communications at the Denton County Transportation Authority. We appreciate y'all joining us for the second of our listening sessions related to our fare and service changes. I will be your host and moderator today. Before we begin, I want to go over a few housekeeping items. We are recording the meeting, so if you have any problems with that, we just ask that you sign out and view the presentation at a later date. We are putting all participants in listen-only mode. We will open up the lines for questions at the end of the meeting. We have 3 ways that you can ask questions. You can type in the chat, you can raise your hand, you can find that feature under our participants section, and you can also email us. That will go to Mary. It's mworthington@dcta.net. We ask that everybody be respectful when asking questions or providing comments. If there are any inappropriate comments, behavior, or language, that may result in you being removed from our meeting. Below on the slide, you'll also find our Title VI policy, which prohibits us from discrimination with regards to gender, race, color, national origin. If you feel that you have been discriminated against in any ways, you can address your complaint using the information below. So if you go to the next slide, Camille, I'm going to turn it over to Mary Worthington. And Mary is our Community Relations Manager in charge of Public Involvement and Community Relations. And she is going to discuss our service and fare planning, provide you with a little bit of background information related to our fixed route bus service, our history of Gozone, and what type of feedback we're looking for. So Mary, I will turn it over to you now. I'm sorry, Mary, you need to unmute.
I just unmuted. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us on this Friday afternoon. I really appreciate you spending some time with us to hear about some potential service and fare planning changes. Really, though, this is a listening tour. What we're embarking upon here at DCTA is an exercise in listening. We want to hear from you. We want your feedback. And so I'll emphasize that several times throughout the presentation today. And we'll tell you how to give the feedback. We'll encourage you to share with your friends and other community members to give feedback, because we want everyone in the community who uses DCTA, is a stakeholder for DCTA, to know how important it is that we listen to you about our services. So let's go ahead and get this presentation started. If we'll go to the next slide, this is just our agenda, what we're hoping to communicate to you today through this presentation. We're highlighting the history of Gozone and our current Connect fixed routes in today's presentation. We're going to explain a comprehensive operations analysis process that the agency is presently involved in. We're going to talk about the public involvement process and our services and our fare models, ways to share feedback, and then we'll go over any questions you might have, anything you've put in the chat. If you want to speak, because you've raised your hand, we'll do that. This is really a high-level overview of the comprehensive operations analysis. And then, of course, we want to talk about the Gozone, and we want to talk about fares and what it costs you. So just get ready, start getting those questions ready, and we're going to have a great time in the next 30 to 40 minutes. Okay, so in the next slide, we're going to talk about the history of what we've been doing here at DCTA. And I'm not going to take you all the way back to the start of DCTA, but let's go back to last year, January 2021. Many of you will remember that we approved a contract with VIA for on-demand service delivery. And we branded and named that on-demand service delivery Gozone. In April, the board approved service proposal and the cost of that with VIA. We had quite a long public involvement process. Some of you may have participated in that, but we held that public involvement for 60 days to get feedback from our constituents and from the public. And then we launched the service in September, but in July, that's when the board approved that final on-demand service plan. So in October, the agency realized that it needed to approve modifications to the fixed route service. That happened in October. And then in December, additional changes to both Gozone and the Connect routes happened in December 2021 and March 2022. And we'll have some visuals to that effect in a few minutes. So one of the things that we do in transportation is analyze. And so there's been an ongoing analysis, I would say, a thorough analysis of fixed route and on-demand and fare models since the fall of 2021, and it will continue through the summer of 2022. And don't worry, we're not going to be done analyzing. We're still going to analyze our work and what we do. So next slide. So let's talk about the comprehensive operational analysis process. It looks at the system as a whole, and the information is collected, and we analyze ridership across the modes to make decisions about our efficiency. And that's really important to us, and it's really important to our business, is to make sure that we are meeting the needs of all of our riders. Both Gozone and fixed route are currently being analyzed. Additionally, our staff is exploring different fare models and what that might look like. So that's where we need you to weigh in. We need you to give us feedback on Gozone. We need you to give us feedback on fixed routes, on our bus service, but also on our fares and what you think about that. So the way that a transit agency does this is through these public meetings, these virtual meetings, these in-person meetings, when we're out and about in the community. And you'll also want to take note that we are going to have one in-person meeting at the DDTC in May, and you can find that at our DCTA feedback.net site. Listening to the public is how we understand how we can improve. So I can't emphasize that enough to you all that are here today. Okay, next slide. So again, the public involvement process. We're reviewing our services. I've touched on this already. We're reviewing Gozone, fixed route, the fare models, just your general thoughts, your concerns, your additional questions, and then a survey. We have a survey on the DCTA feedback.net site. We'd love for you to participate in that. You also will be entered into a drawing for 3 $100 Amazon gift cards if you take the survey. The DCTA feedback.net site is interactive. You can go to maps and let people know, let the staff know at DCTA where you think Gozone might need to go. You can put what they call a Post-it note or a sticker on the site. So I encourage you to use that site and put as much as you feel comfortable sharing. I'm the person you contact if you want a presentation for your civic group, for your organization, for your neighborhood, and my email is there. I'm going to accept requests for presentations until Friday, May 6th. Also, we're available to do one-on-ones. If you just want to have a conversation about transportation in Denton County, we're available to do that. That's part of the public involvement process. So, and our board did agree yesterday to extend our public involvement for several more weeks. So we'll be taking this into June because we really want to listen and hear from the public. Next slide. So here we are. We're going into our services. And we're going to talk about what DCTA's goals and priorities are. We always want to be talking about improving rider experience. We always want to enhance our service delivery, and we always want to build DCTA's service efficiency. So when we throw out big words like comprehensive operational analysis, that's why we do that. We are very concerned about these three things, and that's what we try to do as a staff day in, day out. Next slide. So let's talk about the Louisville Highland Village fixed route history. Over on the left side of the screen, you can see 2019. This was fixed route for Louisville Highland Village. And then what happened, the evolution of things, is in 2021, we implemented Gozone and fixed routes went away for Louisville. So this is where we travel. This is where we're going in the Louisville Highland Village, where we were in 2021, and then where we're going now. So next slide. So here's the Denton fixed route in 2019. Many of you that are joining us from the Denton area maybe remember these routes, and I know some of you refer to these routes. This is what it looked like in 2019. That's when we last did a comprehensive operational analysis. So you can see there's route 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, and 8 in Denton. So now let's look at what the fixed route was in 2021, which is in gray. Those were the routes that were discontinued in 2021. And then the fixed routes that through analysis were relaunched in March of 2022. Again, that was a measurement of efficiency and how we were responding to riders. And that's why that launched in March of 2022. Okay, next slide. So here's our Gozone service area in Louisville and Highland Village presently. You'll see some places that the Gozone goes in Louisville and Highland Village. We want to hear from the public other places that Gozone should go. How is that boundary? What is that like? We go out to Castle Hills now. We annex that in, the Louisville Town Crossing. So, for example, if you're spending time in Louisville and Highland Village and you think Gozone boundaries need to be a little bit different, we want to hear that feedback. You can learn more about Gozone if you don't really know about that service by going to dctagozone.net. So next slide, please. And then here we are with Gozone service area in Denton. So here's some popular destinations. We want to hear if you think Gozone should go to the Denton State School, if you think Gozone should go to the recreation center that has the pool in Denton. We want to hear that. That is very important in the decision-making process. Also, to the airport, do you think Gozone maybe needs to go there? Are you with a company and you might consider taking public transit to work? If it went to where your employer was, we would really like to hear that feedback. Also, feedback is also needed on the service, customer service of Gozone, the availability of Gozone. All of that is fair game when providing feedback. Okay, now we're going to talk about the fare models. And so these are some proposals of what we are wanting to hear from the public. We are presenting, number one, a flat fare. The flat fare would be regardless of distance. It's easy to understand and anticipate for your budgeting purposes. So across Gozone, our fixed connect route, our fixed bus connect route, and our A train, there would be a flat fare regardless of distance. So we want you to weigh in on that and tell us what you think about that in the public involvement process. Now here's the next option that we're proposing, a base fare but additional cost per mile. So if you've used a taxi service or another on-demand service, what this option would do would increase fares that would then probably encourage shorter trips and improve overall efficiency. The shorter your distance, the less your fare is going to be. The longer your distance, you're going to pay more money. If you're traveling 13 miles in a go zone, you're going to pay more money. If you're just going to go a couple blocks, it's going to be less. So, and then the third fare model is what we were calling the hybrid fare model. It encouraged the most efficient trips. It's a combination of options 1 and 2. For example, using Gozone to connect to a bus or a rail at major hubs. So this would be similar to, well, I don't know what I don't know if we know what it's similar to, but it's, the model would use you to encourage riders, to utilize the most efficient trip. And you may be able to take the Gozone straight to work. However, if it takes a lot of time to use the Gozone, then you would use Gozone and then connect with a bus, and it would be more cost effective that way for the end user. So there's 3 models that we want you to weigh in on. You can do that on the DCTAfeedback.net. You can do that today during the chat. Feel free to ask questions if you have those about the potential fare models, but it's super, super important that our community weigh in on this so we can make some smart decisions and we can serve our constituents in the best way possible. So here's some ways to share your feedback, which have already been mentioned. The DCTAfeedback.net. On the right-hand side is the ideas wall. That's where you can actually fill out a Post-it note based on what your idea might be for Gozone, fixed route, fare, or just DCTA in general. Then the interactive map allows you to draw a pin or drop a pin on a map where you think maybe the service might be good going here, or you might want to, go to the rec center and think the Gozone service would be good if it went by the rec center. Public events are another way to give feedback. This is considered a public event. It's actually a virtual meeting, but we do have public events. For example, we will have some tables and some posters before the Louisville City Council meeting on Monday. We will also be at the Denton Community Market tomorrow, seeking feedback, giving away some prizes and some DCTA swag, and we'll continue that into June. And as I said, our public involvement period has been extended. So hopefully you're looking at that DCTAfeedback.net and you're thinking about what you're going to post on the idea wall. You're going to think about a pin that you might want to drop for service, and you are going to become part of the future of DCTA and how we make some changes. And then maybe you've texted 3, 4, 5 people or put on Facebook that, hey, you need to give DCTAfeedback.net a look and give some feedback. This is how we make changes. It's important to us as an agency, and we want to make sure you hear that we are listening to you. So we've got, I think, 9 participants in today's meeting, and this is the time that we'll open it up for your questions, comments. I'm going to turn it over to Pamela, and Pamela, take it away. If you need to clarify anything, it's all yours.
Thank you, Mary. And as Mary stated, we just got the go-ahead from our board of directors at yesterday's board meeting to extend our public comment period. We will be extending this listening phase for at least 2 weeks, which would be through May 31st, but we are working on getting the exact dates, and those will be publicized through a variety of outlets, including social media and on our website. So if you have any questions about that, you can certainly let us know through this channel, through our DCTAfeedback.net, or by emailing Mary or myself. So at this time, we're happy to open it to questions. Again, if you have any questions or comments, please enter those in the chat, or if you would like to raise your hand, You can find that under the participants tab at the bottom of the Zoom meeting. So Mary, I am not seeing any questions right now or comments. We have a quiet group today.
We sure do. Well, I want to encourage everyone that's here to go and fill out the survey because we need that feedback, but you also can be entered into the drawing for the Amazon gift card. You come out to the Denton Community Market, please come say hi. We're at booth 83.
And I would like to add, we're not just looking for feedback from people who currently ride or use our services. We want to hear from people in the community. We want to hear from people who might use other transit services. We have a lot of people in our area and in the Dallas area who might transfer on the train or wish they could have easier transfers between services. We're working very closely with our partners at DART and Trinity Metro on improving connections between services. If you're not a transit rider, we'd love to hear from you and understand why you don't ride transit. What options can we provide, or what type of fares might encourage you to begin taking transit? So I would say tentatively, no comment or no question is a bad one. We're open to hearing just about any type of comment or question you may have related to our service. I'm going to ask one last time if there are any comments or questions. Okay, seeing none, we're going to wrap up this meeting. Thank you so much to those of you who joined and listened to us. As I mentioned, the video is being recorded, and we are working to get the videos from all of our virtual town hall meetings uploaded to our website. So you should have those, I would say, early next week at the latest, just because it takes a little time to download and upload those. So thank you again. We look forward to hearing from you either through the website, email, or in person at one of our events. And thank you so much for participating, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you so much. Bye.